Now, ladies and gentlemen, a moment that we've all been waiting for, the opportunity to meet and greet your New England Whalers.
It's like being born all over again, really. We came from Boston, where naturally the Bruins were number one, and come to a place now where we're number one, and the people have really accepted us, and it's just a fantastic feeling to go out there and you feel the warmth of the people out there cheering for us. And if you recall the last game of the playoffs, we played at home, and come out and the people give us a 10-minute standing ovation. I tell you, that sends the shivers up and down your spine.
13:35 to go in this overtime period, which happens to be the first one. The reason we're so late is we had a 75-minute second period.
Draw one by nobody. Gambucci from his knees tried a shot. Hurley knocks it safely to the corner. Paul behind the net to Lee. Checked by Brackenberry, ahead to Carlander. Al's out with Swain and O'Donnell. Carlander races to center, dumps it into the corner. O'Donnell chasing with Antonovich. Freddie tries to center, ridden off by Smith. He takes a tumble. Swain back to Lee. His big drive scores! There's the one! Get out your seat. Your tickets marked C, because there's hockey at the Hartford Civic Center next Friday night. Standing ovation. They're tearing the place apart here at Hartford. The Whalers win it 3-2 in sudden death overtime.
First of all, coming to this area meant a great deal, having a tremendous turnout the very first practice we ever had in Hartford. I think that had to give the guys a tremendous lift, the way they got behind us, the signs that were in the building for different players, the reaction when goals were scored and fights and things like this that certainly give the team a lift. I think that makes a big difference, especially if you're going to be a winning club in this league or any other league. You've got to have the fan support behind you, and it looks like the people here have really taken to the Whalers.
Face off to the left of Norris, controlled by the Roadrunners. Boyd trying to clear it out, kept in by Selwood. Banks it off the boards now to Webster, in deep to Carlton. Block, rebound, score!
The crowd has just been over enthusiastic about the way they've accepted the Whalers here, again by the size of the crowd tonight, and the noise and the response the players get from the crowd, and the players and the fans seem to be identifying with each other. And I'm really surprised at how fast the fans of the Hartford area have really taken to this club.
Alan Glaspell missed a clear slash on Rick Smith as he really laid the lumber to Swain, skating over the St. line, and Gary really giving Glaspell a what for.
Gary came right off after getting slashed and really ran Hampson to the boards.
Jack Carlson now spun around by Swain. They both fall. O'Donnell jamming with Hampson. Fotiu now works his way, and he just muscles Hampson to the boards. Nick again on Hampson. Swain in there to chase him behind the net. Here's O'Donnell wiping him out. Kept in by Walton, and we've got action here. Walton and Swain with the sticks. Here's Swain taking Hampson out. And Smith throws it to the line, and Glaspell just lets it all go. How about that? Lee now in his own zone. I haven't seen a play like that all year. Swain has lost his helmet. He gets a bump from Hampson. What a check O'Donnell laid on Hampson, about 9 strides. An obvious charge. Here's Walton around Lee. Poked by Hurley as the buzzer sounds. And the Whalers get a standing ovation as they skate to the dressing room.
This is the story of the New England Whalers and the city of Hartford. We'll begin with the courting stage of this very unlikely marriage. The Whalers, a hockey team without a city. Hartford, a city without a team. We're going to trace in these memorable moments the development of this love affair, from the light touches of opening night pomp to the passion of emotional nights through February, March, and April. Nights fraught with the thrills, chills, and spills of this exciting sport called hockey. For beyond anything else, it is this sport, the sport of hockey, played on center stage at the Hartford Civic Center, that has sealed the bonds of this marriage between the New England Whalers and the city of Hartford. 14 sellouts in 29 dates, attendance at 92% of capacity, tremendous community involvement in each and every phase of the hockey operation, from a downtown advertiser buying time on the Whalers radio network to a young girl in Glastonbury asking Wayne Carlton for an autograph. No, this is not a platonic relationship. No kiss on the cheek goodnight. This is good old-fashioned Rhett Butler Scarlett O'Hara stuff, replete with all the trimmings. People still coming in. A full house here tonight. As we look all around the Civic Center, there are no seats anywhere tonight. As a matter of fact, during the course of the day, the Whalers were out here practicing, and while practicing, they had 9,000 fans on hand watching practice alone, if you can envision that. Let's also not forget the standing room only crowd at the Booster Club banquet, or the surprise Bradley Field welcome following that playoff loss to the Saints. But why? Why all the fuss? Well, the answer lies in the game of hockey itself. Like an iron claw, this game grips us with its Coney Island roller coaster of ups and downs. And what better man to share with us his thoughts on the nuances of pro hockey than Whalers coach and general manager Jack Kelly, a man who has won championships at all levels.
Hockey, to my way of thinking, is probably the most exciting game played, both from a participant's viewpoint and that of a spectator. It's a fluid game, one that is constant motion. It's 60 minutes and it's all action. In regards to offense, the idea is moving the puck ahead, head-manning the puck, moving it out of your zone as quickly as possible and breaking the puck up to your open wings. Players with good hockey sense are always busting into the open, anticipating passes and anticipating the play. Actually, offense is a very positive thing and something that is extremely spontaneous for the player.
So we're skating 5-on-4 here as there was an extra minor doled out to the Whalers. Byers now back to the point to Abrahamson. Tommy now cross ice to Selwood. He winds it behind the Saint cage. Arbor now around French to Huck. And it's the Saints who are down a man. Huck throws it but not out. Kept in by Abrahamson. In deep now for French. French works it back to Carlton. Carlton right point to Selwood for the shot. He scores!
Defense is something that has to be thought about. It's a negative part of the game. It's taking something away from the other player. Players have to come back in position. The defense has to stand up to meet and turn the play. Defensemen have to size up whether the wings are covered or the wings are open and immediately adjust to whatever situation presents itself.
Blocked by Johnson. Here they come. 2-on-1. Danny Johnson and Bodine. Johnson's in alone. Johnson fielded a pass, and Hank Slavin made a great diving play. Alan Hank Slavin, what a great play that was. Although Johnson blew it himself by fanning on the pass, Hank Slavin dove with the stick and broke that one up at the last second. How about that?
What a tremendous play by the young rookie. And listen to this Hartford Civic Center audience as young Hank comes off the ice. He's going to get a standing ovation. Look at the people coming out of their seats all around the Whaler bench and now all around the lower tier of the arena, Bob, as it's got to make a young defenseman like Allen up here filling in for some of the injured defensive corps feel pretty good.
Certainly defense is the key to any successful team. If you can move the puck out of your end with the least amount of aggravation, you're going to end up being a winner more times than not. And finally, the goaltending aspect of the game. The guy who is probably the most important cog in any successful franchise. He has to be of a certain nature, one who gets his kicks from a negative reaction. You're stealing something from the other person all of the time.
Abrahamson there, cross ice to Hank Slavin. Hank back to Tommy A at center, to French in neutral ice. French waits on Smith. Stolen by Huck, here he comes, 2-on-1, Huck to Smith, he's in cold, and Smith made a diving save.
I think the thing that I like best about the game of hockey is the constant change. One moment you have a breakaway and you're headed for the other team's net. Then a misplay, and in a flash you're back on the defense.
Garrett holds there for Terry Ball. Waits for Danny O'Shea, trying to beat Carlton, stolen by Carlton. Carlton for French, to Byers. Byers can't tee up a shot. Right wing corner now, Mike against Hampson, they jam. Puck comes free, Carlton back to the point to Selwood, penetrates for the shot. Garrett the save, it's loose. They jam at it and Carlton can't get it home. And back come the Saints, 3-on-2. Hampson goes right to Walton over the line. Drop pass to Hampson to Walton. Walton circles the net, sets it up in front. A great save by Smith off Danny O'Shea to Rick Smith, and Smith made a great save. It's loose in front. Walton to Mike Byers. He worked it out over the line. Byers with Carlton and French. French over the line. French to Byers. He's ridden off by Rick Smith. They want a face-off. Busnick in there to jam it up, and I've never seen Al Smith make two better saves, and he gets a standing ovation.
There is never a one-way street in the game of hockey. It's constant changing, and very seldom do spectators ever get to sit on the back of their seats. It has always been my observation that hockey is the type of game that the players, the spectator, and everybody connected is in the game 100% of the time.
Through all the thick and thin of the Whalers' first memorable season in Hartford, one moment really stands out. A moment Hartford people were looking forward to since the first insurance policy was ever written. A moment Whaler people were looking forward to since the first puck was ever dropped. Opening night, January 11th, 1975. A new home, a new identity. It was the New England Whalers versus the San Diego Mariners, but the opponent didn't really matter. You could have brought in Charlie Brown's All-Stars to play the Whalers that night. Yes, the Hartford Civic Center was open. Major League Hockey was here at last, and it happened just like this.
A very pleasant good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this beautiful new home of your New England Whalers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a moment that we've all been waiting for, the opportunity to meet and greet your New England Whalers. If I may have your attention. If I may have your attention, please. We'll meet the Whalers individually as we did the Mariners. First, the Whalers' brilliant goaltender, a three-time WHA All-Star selection, Al Smith. Now I direct your attention to the players' bench to my left. An injured Whaler not in uniform tonight, a rugged defenseman, member of Team Canada 74, also a three-time WHA All-Star, number 2, Rick Lee. Another defenseman, member of Team Canada 74, twice an All-Star, the Whalers' resident in charge of the quick whip, Brad Selwood. A native-born American star is next. He's also a three-time All-Star, currently the Whalers' leading scorer, number 4, Larry Poe. And another American-born star, perhaps the best shot-blocking defenseman in the business, and he has the bruises to prove it, number 5, Paul Hurley. In his 15th professional season, a man with a rugged reputation, the captain of the Whalers since their inception, number 6, Ted Green. Now I direct your attention to the players' bench again, not dressed tonight, out with an injury. A WHA Rookie of the Year, the little man who relies on finesse and razzle-dazzle rather than size. He's the Whalers' little magician, number 7, Terry Caffrey. The all-time leading Whaler goal scorer is next, a member of Team Canada 74, three-time WHA All-Star, number 8, Tom Webster. Next, a Whaler newcomer this season, former captain and leading scorer of the Toronto Toros. Now he's on our side, twice an All-Star, the Swoop, Wayne Carlin. Mr. Perpetual Motion is next. He's a hard-working left winger who set a major league record with an overtime goal in just 4 seconds at Quebec earlier this season. Number 11, John French. Now at the Whalers bench, injuries have dogged this next man this season, but he's a scrappy two-way forward who will be back hustling and scoring before this season is over. Number 14, Al Carlander. Still one more American star next, an All-American while at Boston College, member of the U.S. national team, member of the '72 Olympic team, and a real speed merchant on the blades, number 15, Tim Sheehy. Now another rugged, hard-checking winger who plays either side. They say he looks like a choir boy off the ice, but on the ice he's earned the title of baby-faced assassin. Fred O'Donnell, number 16. And now a man whose tireless efforts make him invaluable to the Whalers as a penalty killer or skating a shift at any forward position. He's always ready. Number 18, Chuck Charlebois. Who is not there? Okay. The flashy Swedish defenseman of the Whalers is next. He's a member of the Swedish national team, the Swedish Olympic team, player of the year in Sweden in '73. Wait till you see him skate, Tommy Abrahamson. A Whaler rookie this year and penalty killer supreme. Plays all 3 forward positions. He's an off-season golf pro and just 2 nights ago displayed a new talent as the team policeman in Phoenix. Number 20, Gary Swain. An exceptionally strong skater and an extremely effective right winger is next. A veteran with impressive statistics at every level of his professional career. Number 21, Mike Byers. The term wily veteran fits this next Whaler perfectly. In his 17th pro season, his experience pays handsome dividends for the Whalers, as evidenced by his 14 points in his last 7 games. Number 22, Don Blackburn. Still another American-born Whaler rookie, a former New York City amateur heavyweight boxing champion, number 23, Nick Botillo. And another American rookie on defense, an All-American at North Dakota, member of the U.S. national team and a former football linebacker, number 25, Alan Hanksklaven. The other half of the Whaler penalty killing unit was also a collegiate All-American. He leads the team in shorthanded goals, another of the tireless workers of the Whalers, number 27, Tommy Earl. The other half of the Whalers' Swedish twins, not in uniform tonight, was also a member of the Swedish national team, participated in the '72 Olympiad, named the top goalie in Sweden for the past 4 years and player of the year in Sweden last year. From the bench, if he's there, Christer Abrahamson. And just one more Whaler veteran, back in Whaler green following a brief retirement. Boston born and bred, goaltender, number 30, Bill Berglund. I don't know where they're hiding right now, but they're 2 more mighty important members of the Whalers. Their head trainer, no number for him. He's the short one of the pair, Joe Alcott. And the other half that makes everything happen, the equipment manager, Skip Cunningham. And of course, no team can function without the man at the helm. Here's the Whalers' quiet man, head coach, Mr. Ron Ryan. First, we're going to hear from the Managing General Partner of the Whalers, Howard L. Baldwin.
Thank you, Bill. I had a big, long speech planned, but I've never seen so many people in an arena before that I'm too scared to make it. But I will say this. The New England Whalers, owners, management, and players are very, very proud to represent the city of Hartford and the state of Connecticut in Major League sports. And if you'll look up there to the ceiling, you'll see 2 championship banners for the first and the second year. And our pledge to you is to do everything we can to bring the World Championship back where it belongs, to the city of Hartford and the state of Connecticut. Thank you very much.
Next, the other half of the negotiating team that has made tonight possible, the man who helped bring the Whalers here to Hartford, Mr. Don Conrad.
Well, this is overwhelming. I stand here representing 14 public-spirited companies who have brought the Whalers in great excitement to Hartford. Excitement tonight and for the months and years to come. It's been a long road. There have been many turns, but being here tonight makes it all worthwhile.
Next, a brief comment from the man who has to be the proudest mayor in the U.S. tonight, George Athenson.
Thank you very, very much. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. I want to thank the Hartford business community, the New England Whalers, for Howard Baldwin, the Hartford City Council and the city manager, and all of you who support the Whalers. Let's go and support the Whalers all the way.
And now the final comments from the president of the World Hockey Association, Mr. Dennis Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to present this trophy to your president, wishing him the best of luck always, and another championship for New England.
Like all sports, the emphasis in hockey is on winning. You can watch a game as far west as Edmonton, as far south as Houston, as far east as Hartford. And all those fans have one thing in common. They all want very much to see the home team win. Well, that's no problem with the New England Whalers. For 3 straight years, the Whalers have won the East Division Championship. And that very first season, playing in Boston, they won it all, the Avco World Cup, sweeping through 3 playoff series like a thief in the night. Last season's home record was no exception. 39 times the Whalers went to the well in search of home ice victories. And their home winning percentage of .756 was far and away the best in the league. Now, there are many ingredients for this success. Add a pinch of all-star goaltending, a dash of rock-ribbed defense, a sprinkle of offensive firepower, and this Whaler hockey salad can then be topped with any dressing. Balance, equilibrium, depth, consistency, these are all the hallmarks of the New England Whalers. Naming names is a bit difficult and perhaps a bit unfair when you talk about the Whalers. You mention Rick Lee in one breath, you just have to think of Brad Selwood in the other. Think about Wayne Carlton for a moment, and John French will come to mind in the next. This is a team, and the Hurleys, the Abrahamsons, the Hank Slabins, the Climeys, the Swains, the Caffreys, the Byers, the O'Donnells, and the Landons et al. Make as big a noise as the few fellows perhaps the other teams know best. Take Larry Plow, for instance. Larry is a kind of symbol of the Whalers. Plow is an American in primarily a Canadian's game, kind of akin to Milton Berle playing the title role in Hamlet. A silent guy, his businesslike approach and consistent performance make him an unsung hero on a team of unsung heroes. A center by trade, Larry Plow is just one of those guys that does everything right.
Sobchuk now goes right to Jim Niekamp, who skates unattested as center ice. Now throws into the right wing corner, winds around behind Landon, who touches it neatly, leaves for French. French now threw it right in the stick of Gray, behind the net, controlled now by Lee. Lee is out. Lee to Plow at center. Plow has O'Donnell and Lee. Plow over the line, right up the slot. Plow shoots, scores!
What an effort by Rick Lee. Plow. Did they get their act together that time, Bob? Lee saw him breaking, laid it on his stick. Plow went in, and as they crisscrossed, he just used Lee as a decoy. And Larry Plow turned around and drilled it past Jack Norris, ties the game at 13-24.
While Plow is the model of the steady, Tom Webster is the symbol of the spectacular. If it's goals you want, it's goals you get from this talented right winger. A skater of deceptive speed, Webster is the rifleman, zeroing in on rival goaltenders to unload those lethal semi-slaps. Shots that send Whaler fans home with a smile and goaltenders to the nearest tavern for repentance. Each and every year of the Whalers' existence, Tom Webster has led the club in scoring goals. He's the home run hitter, the Babe Ruth of the hockey playing set.
Keoghan over the Whaler line trying to beat Selwood, can't do it. Controlled by Lee, ahead to Climby. Goes to Newell, to Niekamp at his own line. Banks it off the boards now to Mowat. He dumps it into the Whalers zone. Flagged down by Lee in the left wing corner. Good pass to Webster at his own line. Webster's out with a burst of speed. Center ice over the line. Webster dancing in for a shot. He scores!
Is he something else? It's 5-4. Time of the goal will be 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Tommy Webster. Nice pass from Rick.
We turn to the man of responsibility, Al Smith, the goaltender. For the last 2 years, Smitty has had to bear the brunt of the pressures of the brutal schedule virtually alone, due to untimely injuries to his colleagues. Razor sharp of mind and body, Smith handles his craft like a left bank of the Seine impressionist painter, with thought and with care. An honest sort, Al is the first to admit to a bad night, and often the last to take credit for a good one, at least to the public. When Al Smith leaves an arena, he needs no pat on the back on good nights, no scolding on poor ones. He's his own critic, and this self-analysis and personal pride of performance has given Al Smith a reputation as the consummate professional.
Abrahamson there, cross ice to Hank Slavin. Hank back to Tommy A at center, to French in neutral ice. French waits on Smith. Stolen by Hawk, here he comes, 2-on-1. Hawk to Smith, he's in cold, and Smith made a diving save. And back on the Whalers.
Then there's the Nick Fotiu story, the most unlikely tale of all. Just what are the odds of taking a 15-year-old out of Staten Island, New York, giving him a pair of skates and turning him into the most popular professional hockey player in the city of Hartford? Unlikely? Sure, but that's just what happened. During month-long balloting at the arena and all Hartford National Bank offices, Big Nick was chosen as the favorite Whaler. He then named Newington Children's Hospital as the recipient of his cash award. But that's not unusual. That's Nick. The big Civic Center crowds are well accustomed to Nick's sprinkling of pucks in the stands before a game. Nick signing countless autographs for the kids after the game. And of course, Nick creasing the bad guy with a check in the corner during the game.
Nick, what about your first year now? You've just completed your rookie season. You're obviously very popular in the town of Hartford and in the Civic Center and in all of southern New England as far as that goes. These fans in the Hartford area have been something else, and you just mentioned they've taken to you. Did you ever expect anything like this when you came with the Whalers?
No, I didn't really. You know, first year, it's amazing. You know, I really never expected it. It's like Madison Square Garden when they yell and we want Eddie Giacomin and Brad Park. And I come here and it's just like, it's amazing. I go step on the ice and what the people do for me, you know, and do for the team too. You know, it really picks up a team, you know, a real lot.
Subchuk and Gray, the two wingers of this line, have both been very physical and at the same time very effective for Phoenix, but that brings out the enforcer.
Here comes the judge. Would be appropriate if he was one who was deciding things, but he is the one about whom things are decided.
Rendering justice.
Right.
To wrongs perpetrated against his teammates.
How true.
Carlton for TU, Blackburn against Subchuk. Carlton wins the draw. Blackburn's dumped by McNamee. McNamee controls now, banks it off the boards to Wendell Bennett in his own right wing corner. Tried to get it out, kept in by Abrahamson, finally by Carlton. Abrahamson now working against Mino, got it to Carlton. This shot is way over the net. Controlled now by Fortillo. Here's Fortillo giving a run to McLeod. McNamee and Fortillo now want to go at it. He takes on McLeod first. Here's Fortillo and McLeod, and Fortillo is just waxing him with a series of punches. Oh, look out, Doctor, here. We've got a wild one going now. Fortillo just completely decimating, and there's 3 roadrunners that want to get after Fortillo.
And McNamee, Blackie is just holding it back. Nick was just like McLeod was the bag hanging in the gym somewhere and just pounding away at him. And Brent Castleman said, quickly, break that one up, fellas, break that one up.
But while we talk of Plow, of Webster, of Smith, of Fortillo, we must keep in mind that this is a team affair, a 19-man traveling salvation show. D'Artagnan would have loved to play with this club. It's an all-for-one and one-for-all feeling, and that has much to do with the team's success. Even the most ardent of Whaler followers would have to admit that the other guys, the opposition, provide many of the thrills during a given season. Hockey would be pretty dull with just the Whalers on the ice. The big names in the WHA read like a who's who of hockey. Jacques Plante, Anders Hedberg, Frank Mahavlich, Vaclav Nedomansky, Jerry Cheevers, Andre Lacroix. We could go on and on and on. But 2 guys wielded particular magic.
French now ahead to Plow. He lost it. He had mans to Hedberg, to Hull. Good shift around French. Back skates to his own line. Bobby Hull now. Drop pass for Bollet. They penetrate even further in their own zone. Bollet now is out 1-on-5 to center ice. Trying to shake and go around Hurley. Beats him by a half step. Bollet centers it. Hull scores!
Bobby Hull scores his 69th goal of the season, and much as the Hartford fans don't want to applaud Bob, they, I think, all came to see Bobby Hull score one, but they'd like to see the Jets end up with 1 fewer than the Whalers. But at 11:30 of the 3rd period, Bobby Hull puts them on the top side of the score for the first time tonight. The Jets on top now.
Like the Pied Piper of Hamelin, Bobby Hull came whistling into Hartford with his hockey tune of booming shots and slashing skating strides. With his 2 Swedish cronies, Anders Hedberg and Ulf Nilsson at his side, Bobby bewitched and bewildered the Whalers in Hartford one night in particular, scoring a 3-goal hat trick en route to a record-shattering 77-goal season. Then there's another story, perhaps even more amazing than the Hull Odyssey.
Popeil to Gordie Howe over the line, trying to put the move on Hurley. Paul has him well covered, centered it, no one there. Carlton actually dumped the shot wide of Landon. Comes to Hurley, chased down by Gordie Howe. To Mark Howe, he scores! Well, just like that, Gordie Howe outmuscled Hurley to Mark Howe, and the father and son combination clicks.
Father and sons, Father Gordie and sons Mark and Marty Howe, the Waltons of hockey. 46-year-old Gordie with specks of graying hair, master of the subtle and the sublime. Teen Angel Mark, a left winger of extraordinary speed and accurate shot. Defenseman Marty, mean as a master sergeant with the sense of a good traffic cop. The Howe family affair is one that the Hartford fans will never forget. A frantic hockey season has its own built-in pressures. The players, the writers, the broadcasters, the fans, they all feel the emotional teeter-totter in their own way. And no one knows this better than a quiet coach named Ron Ryan. I'll never forget that night walking down a lonely corridor in the wee small hours at a Toronto airport, looking down and seeing the Whalers' popular coach on the floor, a victim of nervous exhaustion and the pressures that only a coach knows so well.
Gentlemen, after lengthy discussions and much soul-searching and very serious conversations with Dr. Turco, it seems in the best interest of Ron Ryan that I relieve him of his coaching duties for the rest of this year. Ronnie has done an excellent job, and I don't think you could ask any more of any other coach. But it has taken its toll. It was an extremely scary thing to have a young guy like that collapse the way he did and then collapse again in the hospital. And we're totally convinced it's from nervous exhaustion, and not anything organic or anything of that nature, but we feel that it would come back on Ronnie with the strain that's coming down, and he's not still quite himself, as you can imagine, and Ronnie and I spent the greater part of the day together, and we felt this was certainly in his best interest. Whether it's in the best interest of the team, only time will tell, but it was a very tough decision, and tough for Ronnie because naturally he wants to be with this team, and as I said before, he's done just a great job all year long, and everybody in the organization feels extremely bad that a situation like this did occur.
Once the initial announcement was made, rumors began flying about the popular Ryan. Would he stay with the team? Would he go to Colby College as athletic director? Howard Baldwin had the answers.
The purpose of this gathering is so that I might, in behalf of the New England Whalers Hockey Club, clear up all the speculation and the rumors that I've been reading in the newspapers about Ron Ryan. And I'd like to make perfectly clear at this time that Ron Ryan is going to be with the New England Whalers organization for as long as he wants to be. And he'll not only be with it, but he'll be with it in a very integral role. Ronnie and I and Jack have gotten together. We've kicked around some ideas we have, and really our big concern right now is getting through the year and winning this championship for the city of Hartford, and then come the summer, we'll get down to where we have a job description. But again, I repeat, Ronnie's with us. He's been with us. Jack, Ron, and I really are the first three people involved with the Whalers. We go back right to the beginning, and we're going to be together for a long time.
The New England Whalers pride themselves on team play, on unity, on lack of any self-professed superstar. And so, on a team of unsung heroes, the press one night honored the unsung hero. And what better way to present the trophy than in the name of the late Frank Keyes, the sports writer who dreamed of pro hockey in Hartford. A colleague at the Hartford Courant, Tom Hine, helps us remember that night.
A Nancy Silver Trophy to be presented for the first time tonight honors the memory of a man who spent his childhood around the game of hockey, lived his adult years writing about it, and died dreaming that sometime Major League Hockey would come to the city of Hartford. Frank Keyes was such a man. A 40-year veteran of the sports writer's field, 35 years as a columnist with the Hartford Courant, Frank Keyes was the first to break the news that the New England Whalers were leaving the city of Boston to move into our new Hartford Civic Center. Frank Keyes died in July and never lived to see the Whalers play a game here. Fellow members of the news media who cover the Whalers on radio, television, and in your daily newspapers could think of no better way to remember his name than to honor him each year with a presentation of the Frank Keyes Memorial Trophy to a New England Whalers player who is an unsung hero, which indeed Frank was too to those who knew him. A panel of 13 sports writers and radio and TV announcers voted last Saturday. Truly fitting of the New England Whalers team, which has no one at the top of the WHA individual scoring statistics, but nevertheless holds one of the best records in the league. This year's poll ended in a flat-footed tie. We will honor both unsung heroes tonight. First, a man who is not old, but certainly could be very soon, when he continues to accumulate the bumps and bruises he has. The best shot blocker in the game, number 5, defenseman Paul Hurley.
Defenseman Paul Hurley receiving the first Frank Keyes Memorial Award, the Unsung Hero Award. And Tom Hine, sports writer for the Hartford Courant, making the presentation. Paul, a tremendous round of applause here at the Hartford Civic Center. Most deserving young man
as he goes out night after night, blocks countless shots, and just turns in a tremendous effort game after game. This year's race ended in a tie. Down to the ice again. Here's Tom Hine with the co-winner.
A man who has proven this season the hockey players don't get older, they just get better. Number 22, left winger Don.
Ageless wonder, veteran Don Blackburn. As Tom Hine said in presenting the award, hockey players don't get older, they get better, and they don't get much better than the veteran Blackburn, who has scored at a point-a-game pace ever since he got back into the lineup.
We'll all remember these first-year highlights in our own special way, from the opening night ceremonies to Rick Lee's playoff overtime goal. But a review of memories would be incomplete without the recreation of just one particular friendly little get-together in that cozy little arena.
Conley intercepts and dumps in a bouncing shot in on Al Smith. He holds it there for Brad Selwood. Right wings to Tommy Earl. Ahead for Larry Plow at center. He spun around and dumped by Bill Butters. Here's a delayed penalty against the Saints. Abrahamson now centers it. Tommy right wing corner, and we're going to have a penalty here. And now Earl and Butters and Plow. We got a fight breaking out here in the right wing corner. Earl's in there jamming. The linesman in trying to separate him. Brackenberry's in there with Earl, Plow, and Butters. Arbor grabbed by Tommy Abrahamson. Selwood and Jack Carlson are paired off. But Bill, Jack Ferreira and I talked about Bill Butters, a conspicuous absentee in period number 1. But the first shift, he's out there drawing a minor penalty. Larry throwing some punches at Larry Plow.
Larry Plow went after him, too, and that gives you some idea. If you're a regular follower of the Whalers.
Well, now Brackenberry and Selwood want to go, and here they go. Brackenberry and Selwood. Brackenberry gets 2 right hands. Selwood wrestling him now. 15 feet inside the line. Here's Butters, sneaks a shot on Plow. Bill Butters
from behind. That's all. Here comes the bench.
We've got a wild brawl here now. Lee is in on Butters. McCartan picks off French. We've got a wild brawl here at the Civic Center. Both benches emptied. Al Smith involved. Players fighting everywhere inside the Saints zone. Everyone paired off for TU now in Carlson. 2 players wrestling down there. It looks like Hank
Slavin, Bob. I'll tell you, that's one of the most ungentlemanly, sneaky, just plain rotten things I've ever seen. Butters came from behind, came up behind Plow and cold-cocked him from behind. Smith and Garrett are at it. Hank Slavin has somebody down, Landon, and
Hank Slavin's hurt, Bill. They're calling for the trainer. And now Gambucci and Hurley, who are wrestling at center, come up. And now it's Smith and Garrett fighting. Wild scene here at the Civic Center as players in sticks and gloves all over the ice. The irony of the situation is Selwood and Brackenberry, who started it all, are now kind of just hugging each other at center ice, dancing around. But you're right, Bill, the despicable act by Bill Butters, sucker punching Larry Plow. And now, here we go. We still got Smith and Garrett involved with Busnick and Ricky Lee, and Landon's out there with McCartan. And here we go again. And
Smith and Garrett.
Piece of Garrett. But Garrett hasn't taken off his mask. And now Nick and Carlson come together. And now Nick wants Carlson. That's obvious.
This may be the main event. He was just holding 2 Saints, 1 in each hand. Oh, Carlson just cold-cocked Nick.
And Nick comes right back at him. Here they go for TU and Carlson. Look at them slugging each other.
And down here in the far right hand, Brackenberry and Selwood still having some comments, still taking some swings. It looks like Saturday night at Roseland in New York. Everybody's paired off. All the good guys in white and the other ones are in blue. And the linesmen, now Frenchie and Hampson are going at it. Selwood and Brackenberry. Bob, you watch the left-hand boards, I'll watch the right, and we'll just kind of override each other. How about that?
Well, now Butters and Swain are going at it in front. Smith now flailing away at Garrett. Right hands by Al Smith on John Garrett. Carlson and Fortillo are separated. Nick's face is bloody. We've got a wild scene here in Hartford. And the irony of it all, look at the 2 trainers, Joe Altott and Glenn Gostick, just calmly chirping at the line. Selwood and Brackenbury finally get rid of each other. We've got cups and
Nick is cut, and he's going right to the box after Carlson. He shrugs the linesman off, gets spun around, and now both linesmen are in front of Fotiu. He's going into the visitor's box if he can get there, Bob.
Well, affable Bill Henderson, the Whalers director of minor officials, must be counting his breath down there because he's got Carlson in there and an angry Fotiu and a cut Fotiu wanting at Mr. Carlson. But as we suspected, Glaspell let this get out of hand. It all started, and now Butters and Swain, and Smith wants a piece of Butters. Look at Al Smith against Bill Butters.
He just rides him right out of the play, too.
Smitty
kills him. Smitty is really laying it on Butters, and Butters takes another right hand. Now O'Donnell is into it.
And Fotiu comes up on Butters, and now Brackenbury and Swain go at it. They go into the St. Penley bench. This just mayhem out in the ice. Fotiu racing in after Brackenbury, and now Carlson out of the penalty box. I've never seen a fight like this in 20 years.
Right into the players' bench, and in the Saints players' bench, there is a battle like you wouldn't believe. Fotiu and Carlson are down on the floor on the players' bench, Bob. You got to get up here to see it all.
Well, we hope this ends soon. Cooler head, and now fans throwing beer down there. I hope they don't get involved in that because then it really will get nasty.
I don't know. Alan Glaspell better get out his pencil. He is going to have
his hands full, and there's still fights breaking out everywhere on the ice. I've never seen a scene like this, Bill, ever. I've seen many a nasty brawl, but never one as vicious and as long as this one.
And it all started when Bill Butters came up and suckered Larry Plow after the original battle, and I don't know. Now Swain, they can't get him separated around the Glaspell is saying, okay, fellas, he's down here in the Minnesota bench trying to pull bodies apart. The fight continues. Harry Neal is standing back out of the way. Al Smith now. They keep changing partners. Smitty has had dancing lessons, Bob, here with Butters, with Garrett, and now he looks like he's going to go with Brackenbury.
Well, I think cooler heads have finally prevailed, at least we hope, as this thing is now getting to be a bit ridiculous.
Every player on both teams, Bob.
But, Bill, you know, you've seen bench-clearing brawls in which 5 or 6 players are involved and everyone else is paired off. But never have I seen a fight where there were 8, 9, 10 separate incidents going on at the same time.
Now it's Brackenbury and Smitty. They just will not quit. Busnick is down here with Selwood.
Well, luckily the fans haven't gotten involved as yet, and we hope they refrain from doing anything silly. And Fotiu now wants a piece of Brackenbury. He tells him to get away from Smitty, and Smitty says, Nicky, I've got Brackenbury in hand. Don't worry about him. And now Garrett comes over with Mike McMahon and Plow.
Plow is taking McMahon out.
And poor Larry Plow, he took the sucker punch from Butters, and I think that's what infuriated Al Smith, Bill.
It sure
Smith
is.
Always wanted a piece of Butters in that fray. But how Glaspell can make rhyme the reason of this fight, he'll need Kissinger and the entire UN peacekeeping force to make some sense out of this.
Let's see if we can go.
So there you have it, a brief glimpse at the Whaler-Hartford love affair. From managing general partner Howard Baldwin, to coach and general manager Jack Kelly, to the players and the entire staff, the Whalers' hats are off to you, the fans, for turning it all into a reality. Perhaps a favorite player whose name you've heard in these past few moments won't be with the Whalers next year. That's because hockey is ever-changing. You've got to keep pace or find yourself at the back of the pack. And Hartford fans are just too good to let that happen. So there will be new faces, new names. The Danny Arndts, the Rosaire Paymonts are all ready to join the holdovers and give you, the fans, more explosive offense, stingy defense, and heavy-hitting aggressiveness. That's hockey. That's the New England Whalers.
Drive, score!